All right, welcome everyone. This is Sahid Rashid. Today, I am going to discuss in more detail about the analysis technique, which is thematic uh, content analysis and discourse analysis. Previously, I have discussed a brief overview of those techniques, but in my today's discussion, I will be able to discuss in more detail about the thematic analysis and its applications. Although the participants are not present, maybe they are quite busy at somewhere, but on their behalf, I am recording this session so that they can see about they can watch in their spare time about today planned content. So let's start today's discussion about the detail things or details analysis of thematic analysis. So myself, Zahid Bashir, I am a faculty member at Department of Commerce, University of Gujarat, and a PhD scholar at Delhi College of Commerce, University of Punjab. These are the contents of this discussion, thematic analysis and its application that I will discuss in detail today with some revised contents. Then content analysis will be discussed tomorrow. Then after that day, I will also discuss the thematic versus content analysis. And the final part is basically related to discourse analysis and its application. Then I will discuss the overview of NVIVO. So, what is thematic analysis? Thematic analysis is basically a method for analyzing qualitative data, such as interviews, focus groups, or open-ended survey responses. It involves identifying, analyzing, and reporting pattern or themes within the data. So, using thematic analysis, you are going to report, analyze, identify the themes which is available, which is basically hidden in your data, whether it would be interview data, whether it would be the focus group data or the open-ended survey responses. So, you are going to identify, analyze, and report those themes with thematic analysis. So thematic analysis is flexible and useful research tool that can provide a rich and detailed content of the data. So this approach is basically developed by Virginia Braun and Victoria Clarke. These are the two ladies who have developed this approach, which is known as thematic analysis. So Braun and Clarke outlined six-step process for conducting thematic analysis in 2006. They have published their book or their initial process of applying thematic analysis using six-step procedure in 2006. So what are these steps? Number one is familiarize yourself with your data. Number two is generating initial codes. Number three is searching for themes. Number four is reviewing themes. Number five is defining and naming themes. And number six is producing the report. These are the six steps which are outlined by Virginia Brown and Victoria Clarke in 2006. And it is the reference which is mainly cited by a lot of research using thematic analysis. So what are the further details? You need to understand the specific detail of each step. For example, familiarizing with the data. In this step, it involves reading the data to become familiar with the content and gain preliminary understanding of the data. So in this step, you basically read your data again and again in order to familiar yourself with the content and with the preliminary understanding of the data. In the second step, you basically generate the initial codes. So coding involves identifying interesting features of the data and assigning labels or code to these features. Then as a third step, you are going to search for the themes. This involves sorting the different codes into potential themes and sub-themes. and collecting the data relevant to each theme. So in this step, you are basically going to search the internet or search the literature for searching some themes or the names of the themes or sub themes. You need to categorize your themes or codes in this level. As a fourth step, you review the themes. This step involves refining and defining the themes and reviewing the themes in relation to the coded data, exact and entire data set. In this step, you basically read or revise your themes in order to find out whether some of the themes may be categorized into some common category. Some themes may define their core category, and some other themes may be different in nature. So you need to refine your themes. Maybe the names of some of the themes you need to change. So in this step, you need to refine and define the themes. At the fifth step, you need to define and names the themes. After the refinement you have done in the previous part, you need to understand that you need to define your themes, and you need to clear about the definition and name of each theme. At the last part, you need to report your analysis uh, in narratives or together providing evidence for each themes with selected data extract and interpreting the finding in relation to research question and existing literature. So in this step, you finalize whatever you have analyzed using these themes. So it is a complete thematic analysis. Now I would like to elaborate a practical example for your understanding. So let's imagine a company conducted semi-structured interview with its employees in order to understand their perspective on remote work. And as the company is considering implementing a permanent remote work policy. So, what is the step-by-step procedure they have applied for thematic analysis? So, as a first step, the researcher need to familiarize with the data. So, the sample data is related to the interview transcript from 10 employees because the company has already conducted the semi-structured interview. So, as a first step, you need to transcribe the data which you have obtained from the employees as a researcher. You need to generate the initial codes as a second step. In the first step, you need to familiarize yourself with the data. So when you transcribe the data, you are basically familiarizing yourself with the data. So as a second step, you need to generate the initial codes. So after transcribing the data, you read the transcription and you identify some initial codes like work-life balance, productivity, communication challenges, technological issues, employee engagement, etc. These are some of the initial codes that you as a researcher will identify from the interview transcripts. So this will basically cover the second step of your thematic analysis. So as a third step, you search for the themes. You basically, as a researcher, the researcher groups the code into potential themes. You identify that what kind of initial codes or initial themes may be categorized into different categories of main themes. So you categorize work-life balance, increased productivity into positive aspects of remote work. You categorize communication challenges and technological issues into challenges of remote work. You categorize employee engagement and desire for flexibility into employee preference and satisfaction. So this kind of categorization of initial theme is basically your third step in thematic analysis, which is known as searching for themes. Here, searching for themes means the categorization of your initial codes or initial themes. In the next step, in the fourth step, you basically review the themes. Maybe some of the themes may be not relevant to your purpose, or some of the themes you maybe need to merge, or some of the themes you maybe need to remove. So the researcher reviews the theme, ensuring they accurately represent the coded data. For example, positive aspects of remote work includes employee mentioned that they enjoy the flexibility and the lack of commute. Challenges of remote work includes employees reported difficulties in maintaining effective communication and occasional technological issues. Employee preference and satisfaction includes employee express a preference for a hybrid work model to balance remote and office work. So you need to review all these, that whether your main categories are basically achieving their purpose or not. Then you need to define and name things. You need to define what does it mean by positive aspect of remote work. It means that benefit and advantage employee experience with remote work. And then you name this aspect as a advantage of remote work. Then you may categorize challenges of remote work as a challenges of remote work, and you define it as a difficulties and obstacle employees face while working remotely. Similarly, the employee preference and satisfaction is named as employee preference and satisfaction, and it may be defined as employee desire and satisfaction level regarding remote work. So in this step, you basically clarify the name of your core categories or your main categories of themes, and you need to define what does it mean by that particular theme. So you need to define it. You can take help from the literature, or you can define yourself if the definition is appropriate. If you doubt with the definition, you need to consult with with the expert in your field, or in the field of relevant domain in order to finalize the definition of your themes. Next is the sixth step, which is basically the producing the report. So the researcher writes a report summarizing the finding of the thematic analysis, provide evidence for each themes with selected data extracts from interview. So this is a sample, a report summary based on our example. For example, what they have concluded about the advantages of remote work. Employees highlighted the benefit of remote work, particularly the improved work-life balance and increased productivity. So you need to cite some references for some of the employees in order to support your finding. For example, one of the employees said that I love that I can spend more time with my family and skip the daily commute. Similarly, with reference to your another theme, that is challenges of remote work, you have found something that despite the advantages, employee also identified the challenges such as communication difficulties and occasional technological issues. So one of the employee B, basically cited that sometimes it is hard to communicate effectively with the team when we are in the same office. Uh, So you need to cite it as a evidence to support your finding. The third finding relevant to your theme is employee preference and satisfaction. And you find out that many employees express a desire for hybrid work model that combines with both remote and in-office work. And one of the employees C, they have cited that I would prefer a mix of remote and in-office work to balance flexibility and collaboration. So this is how you would report your findings of thematic analysis. So see the following papers from thematic analysis folder, paper 1, 2, and 3. So let me show you these papers for your consideration. so that you may be able to understand the real procedure. So I would like to show you some of the research studies that are basically using the thematic analysis. For example, this one, if you see this study, this is technology-enabled communication during COVID-19, analysis of tweets from top 10 Indian IT companies using NVIVO. They have used NVIVO using thematic analysis for conducting this study. If you see, there is an introduction, there is a background, there is a contribution, and so on. So what they have done, if you see the research methodology, they have said that as a research methodology, they conduct Twitter analysis for this paper, and they have identified some of the data extraction technique. I need to show you here some of the basic analysis technique they have applied. They have identified some IT companies. They have extracted their data from tweets, and they have conducted sentiment analysis, and they have also created some insights. So they have done this word cloud. They have created some tree maps using this procedure. So you can also see some word clouds here, some word trees here. All this is done using NVIVO. So these kinds of things are basically done using NVIVO. Uh, you can also do this with thematic analysis. So I will share these articles with you so that you can understand how thematic analysis works. The next one is best paper 2 on thematic analysis. If you see the title of this study, a thematic analysis on employee engagement in IT companies from perspective of holistic well-being initiative. So this is another paper. They have considered employee engagement in IT companies uh, from the perspective of holistic well-being initiative. So we need to see how they have applied the analysis after the initial introduction and literature. What was the purpose of their study? This qualitative research aims at investigating various employee engagement initiatives. So they are going to identify the themes relevant to employee engagement initiatives, which are undertaken by IT companies of Bangalore city concerning holistic wellness understanding of the impact of employee engagement. Through this thematic analysis, this study intends to examine the gaps and suggests efficient strategies. So this paper is very good for thematic analysis. They have applied some uh, basic techniques. They have followed Braun and Clarke. If you see here, they have followed Braun and Clarke technique of thematic analysis. So they have mentioned here, and if you see here, these are the basic profile of the respondent. They have interviewed 10 respondents with different age, with different genders, with different positions and tenure in the current organizations. So this is the profile of the participants, and they have applied those 6 steps, like familiarizing yourself with the data, generating initial codes, searching for the themes, reviewing the themes, defining and naming the themes, and producing the report in this paper. So my suggestion is that you should study this paper too. They have thoroughly uh, considered all the phases here, like generating initial codes, familiarizing with the data, how they have familiarized themselves with the data, how they have created their initial codes, how they have searched for the themes. They have elaborated each steps of thematic analysis. So I would suggest that you should read this paper in order to understand thematic analysis more clearly by this study. So this is the mind map which we can create using uh, uh, NVIVO. They have created their themes like physical well-being, psychological well-being, and they have subcategorized this into mental well-being and emotional well-being. Similarly, they have identified social well-being, financial well-being, spiritual well-being as a holistic well-being thematic analysis. So they have created this, and this is a complete view of thematic analysis. You need to read this paper completely like this. This is also a mind map. We should see the finding. This is basically is considered your word frequency, and this is the discussion part. This is the theoretical contribution, managerial contribution, and so on. So I would personally suggest that you should read this paper. I will share with the participant the thematic analysis on employee engagement. So the time for today's session is going to end. Do you have any question, dear participant? Dave, do you have any question regarding today? If you have any question regarding today's discussion on thematic analysis, please let me know because time for this meeting is going to be end. Dave, do you have any question? I think Dave is busy at somewhere. So let's conclude this session. I will share this paper with the participant and they will study this paper. And tomorrow I will discuss the content analysis and its application in the same way that I have discussed the thematic analysis. I will also share some paper with the application of content analysis. So thank you very much for joining participant. Thank you so much and stay blessed.